before he ended up facing charges.
Posts videos of himself to YouTube.
What up, Brad? What up, Brad? We're out here on the dirtiest of the sixes, and it's a beautiful Texas day, as it always is. It's just a beautiful place, Brad. It's just a wonderful, beautiful place with traffic in the middle of the day. I don't know why. Well, I remember the good old days when there used to be like tons of traffic down this stretch of highway, and I'd just be cutting them, boy. Now we can just hit the tollway over there. Just, as you can see, there's no cars on the tollway. You can just zoom on down. Anyway, we got a video to talk about. There's a science to going fast, right? And I don't think really anybody besides people that go fast and have for years that really understand this. Well, there's like a risk-reward kind of way about doing it where you can kind of gauge the chances, and yeah, there's always room when you're going fast for just something just to go wrong that you can't help. There's always that possibility, right? But it's a lot, how do I say that, when you're doing it right, the margin of error is a lot smaller than most people think, because everybody just sees a bike going fast. Like if you go to my Facebook, I have Facebook, right? The reels, man, some of the reels that blow up on Facebook, dude, it's all those boomers, and they're just hating and constantly hate. Like, they're so angry on Facebook. It's crazy, like, reading the comments and stuff. It's actually really fun. I do it as a pastime. But they all say the same thing. Like, it's only a matter of time. A lot of bikers on YouTube and Instagram also say this too. But what I'm getting at is that there's more to it than meets the eye. There's a lot of thought that goes into certain decisions when ripping really fast. And I figured it would be a good idea to like do a breakdown video of what goes through my head and explain it, because I can't go fast and talk to you guys while I'm doing it, right? Because I'm thinking of things in a second. Like I have a whole thought and of what's good, bad, ugly, and then I react. Most riding is like reacting. It's, you know, you come up to a car fast, you swerve, you go around the car. It's a lot of reacting, and then I try to react in a way that puts me in the best scenario for not having another issue, whatever that looks like. So there's a video titled Sorry. That video, I'm gonna run through it and just voice over. Is that Dogecoin? Or is it just a meme dog? Pretty sure it's Dogecoin, isn't it? Yeah, very cute. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Let's rip for a second, since this is what we're talking about.
Here we are ripping on the 1K. So I'm just going to talk about what goes through my head at these speeds and what I'm looking at or thinking about. So that's going to be this whole video. So right off the bat, I decel and I start to change lanes, because if JR will zoom in, you can see this truck and this SUV, the gap's really close, but I know the SUV is further back than the truck. So I know I should be able to come in and wedge them left, like swing left and cut in between them. But I don't want to come straight at it because the gap's too close, right? So you gotta come at something with like a momentum to swing around it, right? So that's what I'm doing here. And sure enough, when I get up here, they're getting close, right? But I still wedged them like I wanted to a little bit. Just straight ripping. I let off and I look up. And when I'm doing that, I'm looking ahead trying to see what's going on so I know where I can go. I can't tell what's in front of this truck. I can't tell what these cars are doing. I'm looking at that black car, the third one, right next to the truck, because he looks like he could go over in between the truck, like in front of the truck, right? If he wanted to get around this car. So I gotta like look for that, right? Because I don't know if that car is going to change lanes and try to go around the car that he's in front of if there's nobody in the lane to the right. So I don't know that yet. So that's why I look up. So right about here, I see what's going on now. The black car's braking, so it's got me a little sketched. So I let off again just to see what's going on, because I know he's braking because he's really on that car's butt, and that car is almost at the front of the truck. So you got to think like, okay, that means that car could be getting bullied at the moment and want to move over in front of the truck quickly to let this black car by. So that's why I come up kind of cautiously until I know I'm good enough just to hit it, which was right there where I decided, okay, I can hit it and go. But I had to be a little bit careful coming up to that. Felt a little wobbly, had to tighten that. Now we're kicking, ain't nobody in front of us. We're running 180. Up to this exit, so I see this car out in front of me that they went the way I'm going to go. Trying to remember how sharp this turn is. They're going pretty on the inside, so I waited for a little bit till they swung out and then I went on by. So I lagged just a little then to cut into them because I don't want to squeeze it too hard, especially when you're on that shoulder like that. Now here we're coming up to get on. Now watch me check. So I gave a shoulder check. I looked back, and at this speed there was really no reason to do that, right? Wrong. The reason I do that is because I know there's a lot of traffic on this road at this time behind me right now. And cars that get free, some of them really want to go at that point, right? Because they've been sitting in traffic 10 minutes, especially somebody in a fast car like, Mustang, Camaro, Charger, whatever. So I shoulder check real quick to make sure there ain't nobody in this fast lane coming up fast. Because even though I'm doing 120, they might be doing 140 because they just got out of traffic. The left lane's open and they're cooking. So that's why I checked right there. So a lot of this going fast and not dying and that thought and like being like that, where you don't make these kind of like getting these accidents and stuff, it's stuff like that. You really have to remember where you are, what traffic's doing, what it's most likely going to do, where, things like that, right? So that's something I know is a possibility. So that's why I shoulder check as I come in. So once again, we're just cooking. So I see these three cars and I decide to go to the right. If you can tell where I'm pointing, you can already tell I'm going to go between on the left side of this Titan. And the reason why is because more than likely that car that's passing the Titan, he's the most likely person to change lanes right now. The Titan's chilling in the middle lane. He's not going to do anything. This little car that's going in the slow lane is probably not going to do anything because he has nobody in front of him. He's open. He's cruising. Same thing with the Titan. But the white car, in like normal ways of going about down the road, you're not supposed to sit in that fast lane. So I already predict that the white car might change lanes, and my best option is to go to this side. And once I'm in here and I go around the Titan, I can see these two cars in front of that, and I have a perfect swing. I go right and I swing back left. I'm back in the fast lane cooking. So that's like the thought process behind that little encounter, right? You just gotta you gotta pick out your best option, what's most likely gonna be the safest route. So here I lift my head again. I'm trying to decide what's going on. I see that I could go this Charger, there's a semi, and then a truck with a camper. I kind of feel a little spicy. I want to go the camper route. And I don't think he's going to move because, or at least fast, because he has a camper shell. So as I get up here real quick, as you can tell, he has a camper shell. He's got a gas can, he's got a generator on the back. He's not going to be swinging really fast to get around this Charger right here. Like, wow, I clicked the pause button as fast as I could right there, and we jumped ahead in front of the Charger. But anyway, so I know he's not going to go anywhere too fast, so that's a little bit of a dicey split to go this way versus I could have just went between the Semi and the Charger, and that would have been the safest route. But I felt spicy, so I did that. But yeah, I still thought about it. I was like, he's not going to do anything too wild. He's got a big old camper shell. He's going to move slow. So it's still a safe choice. Wasn't the safest choice, but it's still a safe choice. So here we are. I can't really see what's going on up ahead, so I go over to the far right so I can get up here. So now that I'm up here on the far right, I get around these cars. I can see all the way down to my left now. So I can kind of make out what's going on in this spot where everybody's jammed up. Stay to the right side. Here comes traffic, and this is what I'm going to have to start going into, right? So we just go around that. Now we can see we're down to 3 lanes. I decided to stay in the middle lane. You can see there's just less cars on the, not middle lane, the right lane. There's less cars, so it makes more sense to stick to the side. Now we move on over. Now it's a break, and then we're just full pinning. Pretty easy. You just go around that truck, keep cooking. Now there's traffic, right? So I can already see an easy gap to go all the way right, which I think that's what I'm about to do. But that's the safest, easiest route right now. And that's what I do. Go all the way right. I'm over here. Now I'm either going to go, yeah, so we're looking at the Semi. We're looking at the Semi and the cars next to the Semi, and we're looking at this Toyota truck. This Toyota truck's on his brakes. So I don't know what's going on there, but I don't really like that. So I think I'm going to go left. Yeah. So I go left. Now, watch this. Once I get here, see how the black car has a car right in front of him and he's all the way over, almost touching the line? I'm already looking at that car in this split second going, I think he's going to change lanes. Because like I said before, when you go around a vehicles in the fast lane, sometimes they get around something and there's somebody in front of them going slow and they'll merge to the middle lane to go faster to get in front of whatever's in the fast lane. So I already see that he's far over and I'm thinking he might go. So watch how I adjust. I'm swinging right. I'm going to readjust to go left. I got straight and look, the car started to go. So in that, like that half second right there, I straightened up. I'm ready to maneuver in any direction depending on what that car does. The car got in my way. So this is when the quote unquote one lane change, it's over. No. I maneuver left. I start going left. I haven't even hardly let off the throttle. We're still gaining speed. And here we are. Right around that car. No problems at all. And that all happened, I don't know, Jared, put up a timestamp from when I straightened up to going around the car, how fast that happened. And then now we're full cooking. And this is fast thinking. Some people cannot think this fast, right? Some people can, some people can't. You know? And if you're not that person that can think super fast, or you think, or you're ripping and then stuff just goes past you and you're just like, whoa, that was crazy. I didn't even keep up with that. You don't need to be going this fast. That's just what it comes down to. Some people just cannot. I knew people like that back in the day, the riding group, you know? There's those few guys, you're like, okay, these guys do not need to go fast. They don't need a fast bike because they can barely think with their slow bike. So, yeah. Adjust the steering wheel. It's a little too soft still. Straight ripping. Now this, I'm looking. You can already tell where I wanted to go. I wanted to go all the way over to the left. I didn't like the way this black car was with the Semi, and I liked that there's a little bit of a gap right in front of the truck and the Semi. It's open there. So I want to go that. So that's what I do. I level up and I hit that. And here we are again. Straight flying, boys. I mean, we're cooking. Traffic's building up all on the left, so I just move over to open right lane. Just not a whole lot to think about there. Empties out, so I move back over. Boy, we're kicking the 180s. Once again, it's building up. Cars changing lanes to the left. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go right. That was a Mustang with some slicks, it looked like. Or at least it looked like it had sweet wheels, whatever it was. Anyway, so now it's just open lane. Now I'm cooking. And when I'm cooking this fast, I'm ready to go either which way depending on what needs to happen, right? And the way everything's going right here, I'm good. But if anything decides to get in this fast lane, I got an open shoulder. It's super easy to go all the way to the left and keep going or move over to the right at this point. Like I can go any which direction here. It'd be really hard for a car to mess me up while I'm cooking down the fast lane when I can see everything so open for so far. So now I'm setting up for this twisty little zigzag on the highway here. I see that there's just one car, so I'm going to go wide and then cut in. Once again, another car, just move over, cut in again. Here, I just came across the bridge, right? Those little bump gaps. When I see those gaps, I don't want to keep in my speed and dive when those gaps are doing that. So I let off, and once we're through the gaps and I slow down as much as I did when we're going 130 something, now I dive bomb over. I don't want to do that prior because I can catch a wobble on those, especially when you're going really fast and you're just ripping. It's just better just to decel, put all the weight on the front, go through them, and then move on over once you slow down. Because I needed to for those two cars. I didn't want to split them. Once again, I lift my head up to see what's going on. This car's way over, and I'm like, all right, fine, stay over there. I'm going to cook it. Same thing. He's kind of staying over. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to cook it through them. Pat the bike, brahs. You got to encourage the motorcycle, brahs. Give it a little pat. Tell it's doing a good job. Back to ripping. Looks like traffic's building up on the right, so I move over to the left. Now here's a little bit of a gap, but that minivan is way over and not moving too fast, so I didn't have any problem with pretty much getting in their lane and coming on by. Go ahead and stay in their lane. And then, once again, traffic's kind of building, so I just go to the least resistance, right? So we're all over in the right. Coming up on this turn, still clear in the right. It started to loosen up a little bit, so I just went all the way to the left. But now it's building up again, and I'm looking to see where I need to go. And from what I can see, I don't want to split this truck and the semi. I want to go to the right. I just didn't like the way that looked with the silver truck up there. There's an open lane all the way over here to the right. There's no point in splitting all those when I could just do this. And then whoop, I swing all the way back over to the left. Now we're back to cooking again. Okay, another spot where I lag out a little bit because this car is really close to being able to turn in front of this truck and travel trailer here. So that's that stuff that you always got to look for because you never know when the car is going to do what he's supposed to do, pass the slower vehicle, and then move over. So I kind of lag a little bit. I'm like, all right, he's not really doing anything, but I got the bike in a lean. So I'm already in a lean. If that car starts to turn, I'm already going to be in a good spot. He doesn't move. He's all the way over. You see me readjust to get back over. Once again, same thing going on here. This SUV is a little bit in front of this car, and if they're doing what they're supposed to do, right, they should get over, right? So you should always prepare for that. Or at the very least, right, you should just always prepare because that SUV, this Toyota, has nowhere to go except for to the right. He's not going to go left into the shoulder. He's going to go right. So if he goes anywhere, it's right. So you should be ready for that. You should set the bike up to be ready for that if it makes sense to. So here I'm already leaned slightly. Whoop, just go on by. That car started to change lanes, so I just stayed all the way over. Least resistance, just going through where there's the few amount of cars. Okay, here I decel and I look. So I'm seeing what's going on. We got a car, a pickup truck in the fast lane. And I'm not 100% about that truck. Now I see that truck looks like he's moving over. You see how tall I am on my bike right now? I'm aiming to split this gap because these cars are being very still. But that white truck, you can see he's sticking off the right side of this car already. So I, at this moment, go, he's changing lanes. So now you're going to watch me keep my bike veered right. Like this already turns as a highway. It's already slightly turning. So I kind of keep the bike to the right / straight, because then it's just going to keep turning, you know, without me turning. If that makes sense. So there's the truck. Sure enough, he's changing lanes. I'm already pretty far over. I see how slow he's going, and I set up my bike to turn. So I'm going to hook the right side of this center lane as I go by him. And as you see, he started to come over, but I'm where I need to be. He's taking his sweet time in his lifted truck. No worries. I'm going to literally be gone in a blink like this. Like that. 2 little taps of the pause button and unpause, and I'm already past him. Pretty simple. So 1 lane change, it's not over. You just need to be set up to be able to handle it if it comes. That was pretty simple. I just needed to go right there for a second and then cut back left from that truck. Resting the hand, because flexing how bored I am at this speed of 180 miles an hour. So I slow down. I just make sure that this truck looks like he's going to stay here. Looks like he is. I try to stay to the right of that line, because if you run those lines in between the concrete, that's like a good gap, and you can get it wobble like that. So you got to be careful. Now we're just straight ripping again. By the way, this audio I'm sure Jared is putting in is crispy. This ZX-10 was a ripper, and it sounded amazing. Coming up, nothing to really talk about here other than just, I got straight lines. And I think this is the end of it. Yep, this is the end. So that's what I think about when I'm doing that kind of stuff. I really try to be critical with what I'm doing, like take the best route possible, set myself up to predict that a car is already going to change lanes, so that when I come through, I'm already in the best position I can be in if he is going to do it. Don't split a car straight. You should always be leaning an angle. If you're splitting 2 cars, and let's say the left lane, there's 2 vehicles, and then in the right lane, so you're in a 2-lane road. Left lane 2 vehicles, right lane 1 vehicle. The left lane, the vehicle in the front is barely past the right lane vehicle, right? So the left lane is further up. Then you got the other car. You should always split that with a right leaning angle, because you should always predict that car that's in front of the car in the right lane is going to move over into the right lane in front of the right car, and that left car behind him is probably going faster, and that's probably why he's going to do it, right? So that car behind him can go and he can get out of his way. You should always predict that that's what's going to happen. So you should always set up your bike to go that way, because there is no other options. He's not going to go over to the left. He's not going to go on the shoulder. And that car that's behind him isn't going to do anything, because he's locked up with the car in the right lane. And the car in the right lane is not going to merge over into the car in the left, because the car on the left is right there, right? So there's no options. You should always set up for that. You shouldn't just split that straight, predicting that this car in the left lane is just going to stay there. You should always veer right. So there's, instances where that just makes sense going through traffic. I don't ever really like splitting cars straight. I'll do it and stuff, but if they're like staggered like that, I'm always going to have a lean. And that's really all I can think about in that. But yeah, that's how you go really fast and not end up in the paper or on the Facebook profile picture of a memorial ride. You got to think about all this stuff. And some people just can't think fast like this at all. So you shouldn't do it. But like, I'm thinking faster than I can even explain it to y'all, pausing the video and talking about it. The bike's moving that quick. So yeah, just keep that in mind whenever you're doing this stuff, and just know that some people can do it and some can't. You should really be mature enough to know the difference if you're in that category or not. But anyway, love you guys. Thank you, Jared, for editing the video. Later, brahs.
His YouTube page continues to post videos of himself speeding